I will go ahead and call this planning commission meeting to order. Julia, can we please start with the roll call?
Commissioner Solis.
Here.
Commissioner Elizalde.
Present.
Commissioner Rocha.
Here.
Vice Chairperson Robert Martinez.
I'm here.
Chairperson Eric Martinez.
Here. Now time for the Pledge of Allegiance. Commissioner Solis, would you like to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance? Thank you.
Please stand. Place your right hand over your heart. May we begin.
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Commissioner Solis, for leading us in the pledge. I think there's at the top there's a switch. We do have one public hearing today, that being for conditional use permit number 748, an application to construct a new two-story building and finding the project categorically exempt pursuant to CEQA guidelines section 15332 for infill development, located at 9220 Bermuda Street. The Community and Economic Development Director will introduce the staff person providing the report.
Thank you, Chair Martinez. Assistant Planner Anelli Gonzalez will have the report.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening, Chairperson and members of the Planning Commission. Today's item is number 1, conditional use permit number 748, an application to construct a new two-story building located at 9220 Bermuda Street in the commercial manufacturing zone. The subject parcel is located between Serapis Avenue and Reeve Road. The approximate size of the lot is 8,699 square feet. It is surrounded by light industrial. Such businesses include Auto Collision Center, Concept Metal, and Elite Glass Enterprise. It is between Bermuda Street and Serapis Avenue. Some background, the site was originally developed with a single-family home and garage in 1895. In 2015, a permit was issued for the demolition of the single-family home, and the site has remained vacant since. So this image we are seeing is the image of the first floor. The project consists of a new two-story, 6,493 square foot building with an overall height of 30 feet. The applicant is proposing 6 parking spaces, 5 regular and 1 ADA. To the right hand behind, you can see where the parking spaces are going to be located. That also includes the 1 loading space. And in the front, there is also a parking space located as well. This is the second floor. The second floor will include an additional, the second floor will include 1,993 square feet. On the right-hand side, it is an open floor plan from the first to the second floor. And it's also a working space with 2 restrooms as well. These are the elevations of the proposed building. The proposed project features a modern design. The building will use different colors of neutral gray and cool tones. The incorporation of smooth stucco finishing, metal panels, and imitation wood proposed in the front and rear of the building. These are the side elevations, south and east elevations. In this side, it will propose cinder block in a neutral color, and also windows will be proposed to avoid blank walls. In the south elevation, there is a balcony that is proposed with male railings and a sliding door. The landscaping will be located in the front, and approximately 1,250 square feet of landscaping is proposed. 2 Palo Verde trees will be centered in the front. Other plants include bluegrass, agave, and California poppy. There will be a 4-foot wide walkway centered in the middle of the front yard, and also proposed lighting. A condition of approval is required that the applicant submit water-efficient landscaping, and that is a separate application. The environmental review. So the proposed project is categorically exempt from the provisions of the California Environmental Quality Act, CEQA Guidelines, Section 15332, Class 32 infill development projects. Staff recommends that finding the project categorically exempt from the California Environmental Quality Act, CEQA Guidelines, Section 15332, infill development projects, and also approving conditional use permit 748, subject to conditions. And I have any questions, and also the applicant, Amir, is here to answer any questions as well.
Excellent. Just for clarification, should I open the public hearing prior to the commission asking questions?
You should open the public hearing first.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, at this time, I'd like to open the public hearing. Is there anybody in the audience who would like to make a public comment? Seeing none, I will close the public hearing. And before I open the deliberation to the planning commission, I did have two very quick questions. The first being about the prior use on the site. Was a single-family home with a detached garage the only prior use prior to the land becoming vacant?
Yes, thank you, Chairperson, for your question. So yes, that site was actually built with a single-family home and garage in 1895, and it's remained a single-family home up until 2015 when they pulled the demo permit.
Okay, excellent. And my second question is, do we know what kind of manufacturing will be taking place within the building?
Yeah, so it's light manufacturing. They are proposing to do electronic assembly. So it does include, we did receive a proposal from them, conduits, fixtures, lamps, hardware, and supplies.
Okay, excellent. Thank you. Thank you for a great presentation, and thank you to the applicant for being here. Do any of my other fellow commissioners have any questions or comments they'd like to make?
I have one.
Commissioner Rocha?
Why, let me speak up. Why is the project CEQA exempt?
So it's CEQA exempt categorically. You must, specifically for this one, when staff reviews for any CEQA review, this one was brought up with an exemption. It does meet the requirements that CEQA has, and they are listed, and it's 5 of them. But yes, that's why it is exempt.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Typically, Commissioner, when we invoke an exemption, the California Environmental Quality Act has predetermined exemptions.
Okay.
And if it falls within the description of the project, we will implement those.
Okay.
And if you read those exemptions, they're pretty self-explanatory, whether it's infill or whether it's a minor modification to land, or I don't know them all off the top of my head, please don't
Yeah.
ask me, but there's like close to 40 of them-ish. But they're generally done, I think, in the spirit of making sure that when there's environmental oversight to projects, that smaller, more benign projects have less of a bar to get over than more involved, more complicated, or potentially more environmentally sensitive projects.
So maybe.
In this instance, you have a single-family home that was taken down, and you have a small cinder block building going up.
Okay. So maybe less risk.
Sorry?
Maybe less risk overall. Maybe less risk.
Correct. What the state has deemed as less
Yeah.
risk, not us.
Thank you.
Are there any more questions or comments?
I'll have some for the,
Oh, because I have quite a few. Ms. Solis? No?
Go ahead.
Mr. Gonzalez, did you prepare this report?
Yes, I did.
Good job.
Thank you.
And let me tell you why. All the questions that I had formulated prior to reading this was all in his report. So you did a really good job. And staffers who reviewed it and everybody who took part, like there was other entities. That the fire, Edison, they did a good job. So I thank you for that. And to piggyback on the chairman's question about the house, I do have one, and it was built 1895, so I don't even know if there was a sewer system in place at the time. Was there any findings of a septic tank, maybe?
So because of its state, we had to actually request records from the county, and the only ones that were found, because of its date, was information about when it was built, its square footage, but nothing particular for its sewage.
And just in case there is one, is the developer responsible for removing it?
Yes, I would think so.
Okay.
So when the developer submits for construction drawings for plan check, in the course of that, a number of third-party agencies will review, not the least of which is for sewer connection. They will do a soils report to ensure that whatever they're planning to build will be built safely. That will include sewer connection study, water capacity study, if Public Works deems necessary, and those will all take place in the plan check process. We approve what is basically above ground. We do not approve what is below ground. That falls under the jurisdiction of Public Works or in the public right-of-way. If they don't have a sewer connection, they will be obliged to create one. If they have a UST of any type, they'll be, if deemed necessary, they will be obliged to remove it.
With that said, if there is you said a soils report submitted, right? And I'm just throwing it out there in case, because I've experienced this before. If they find some sort of contaminated soil, I'm familiar with soil remediation. If that needs to be done, once again, they're on the hook for that.
Correct.
Okay. On page 6, I know there's several 6s out there. Page 6, they call out for a lot line adjustment. I'm a little confused. Is there going to be some adjustment of lots?
Yes, so I could show you. So if we look at the PowerPoint, the lots are highlighted 15, 16, and 17. So the reason why the lot merger was required, we did,
No. I see it now.
Yes.
I see the reason for that. So you're going to consolidate these lots, and that's what, okay, that makes sense. I didn't catch that at all. Good catch. Let's see here, I got everything marked out here. Public Works they were very in detail. My question is does it warrant a street light in that neighborhood? I don't know if there's a series of
There's
street.
one across the street, 52.
Oh, so the answer is no?
Correct.
Okay. I think everything's flagged out. If I see something else, I'll come back. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Commissioner Solis, Commissioner Elizalde, if you have any comments or questions?
No, I'm fine.
Okay.
I want to speak to the applicant.
Yes, sir.
Can the applicant come up to the podium?
Oh,
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah.
yes,
Okay.
we can hear you great.
We can have him introduce himself.
Right.
Should he introduce himself?
Yes. Thank you. So we have the applicant Amir. He is here also with his architect Nella as well, and they're here to answer any of your questions.
Okay. Chairman? Yeah, just a couple of quick questions.
Yes, sir.
How many employees are anticipating that'll be employed at this facility?
Approximately 4.
About 4?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Also, I know you can do light assembly, you're saying, on electronic type of equipment.
Yes, sir.
What type of loading, unloading, and how often would that be occurring? Because I know that, the reason I ask this question, it's not a trick question or anything, is that that particular area, you do have a lot of light manufacturing on that street. So you
Correct.
do have a lot of trucks in and out, so I'm just wondering if that's going to be an issue.
We get deliveries about once a week because we stock in bulk, and then our employees pull boxes to assemble gearboxes and things of that nature. And we have another outlet in the city of West Hollywood. From there, we ship to there, and from there, they ship out to different customers. So we don't have a lot of, how would you say, we don't have a lot of traffic in and out of our warehouse.
Well, I do see they have one particular area where you have a loading zone, right?
Correct, in
Right.
the rear of the building.
Yeah,
Yes, sir, right there.
right.
right here, if you don't mind me pointing out.
No, no, go ahead. Yeah, okay, just wanted to confirm that. Yeah, no, you've answered my questions, a little concerned about the traffic area, because I know there's a number of trucks, a number of businesses there that, similar, light manufacturing, but there is a lot of traffic.
I understand. Thank you
Okay.
for your concern.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
I have another, I know.
Do you have another question?
Yeah, I do. Did you say you were the architect?
Yes.
Okay, here, I missed something, 3 things I missed. It says on, I don't know what page, it's not numbered, construct all new curb and gutter. Does it warrant that? It says the entire footage of Bermudas, the full width of the project, new curb and gutter.
That's a condition of approval, Commissioner.
I'm sorry?
That's a condition of approval.
So it is a condition that we're placing on them to
Correct.
replace that curb and gutter? Because I know they,
Yes.
okay, the next one, 27, says, construct all new full-width sidewalks. And I noticed that there's a sidewalk, there's a parkway that's got brick. Are we going for the back of walk to the back of the curb, all concrete?
Yeah, it would be the rest of the neighborhood. all concrete.
It's all concrete to match the rest?
Correct.
Okay, all right, that's good. And then the driveway approach, you're just gonna replace it to accommodate whatever width of the driveway. That's all I had, Mr. Chair.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Excellent. Thank you so much for answering those questions. Yeah,
Sure.
you're okay to sit.
May I sit?
Yes, of course. At this time, I'd like to, if there's no more deliberation, I'd like to make a motion. Sorry.
Close the public hearing.
Oh, okay, sorry. At this time, I'd like to close the public hearing. And I would also like to make a motion to, sorry, did you have a question, Robert?
No, I was gonna make that motion, but someone else can make it.
Okay. I'll make the motion to approve conditional use permit number 748, subject to conditions, and find the project category exempt from CEQA. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Commissioner Solis?
Yes.
Commissioner Lizaldes?
Aye.
Commissioner Rocha?
Yes.
Vice Chairperson Robert Martinez?
Yes.
Chairperson Eric Martinez?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Moving on, we have non-agenda items, public comments. Being that there's nobody in the audience who would like to make a public comment, I will go ahead and go past that part of the agenda. There's no items on the consent calendar, and we do have planning commission reports.
Yes, thank you, Chair. At the last City Council meeting of June 27th, Amendment number 1 to Professional Services Agreement number 19-1887 with Kinley Horn for the Washington and Rosemead Boulevards Transit-Oriented Development Specific Plan was approved. The Washington Boulevard TOD Specific Plan, we anticipate bringing that to you before the end of the calendar year. Ideally, an administrative draft should be in your hands by the fall, wherein we'll offer comments. We'll have some workshops prior to that, leading up to that, and then finally to City Council for approval.
Great.
That's probably one of our bigger items we hope to close out this calendar year. I think, as you know, we're in the middle of updating our zoning ordinance. That is happening with our consultant Dudek. They were previously approved for our creation of our design guidelines and development standards. So both of those will be working in tandem. However, the design guidelines may be approved beforehand. In a perfect world, I anticipate the zoning ordinance being before you this time next year. It'll take some time to review, work with our technical advisory committee, present to stakeholders like yourselves and commission, and then for adoption and codification, hopefully by the fall, end of next year.
Thank you.
I have a question.
Oh, yes, Robert.
Yeah, I do. I do have a question regarding the design guideline, whatever it's gonna be. Excuse me, what exactly is that? Is that more for architectural, what things should look like in the future within the public right-of-way, on-site, off-site,
It's all private property.
private? Do we have anything in the public right-of-way?
In what capacity?
Well, I'm just thinking that I've seen guidelines where if you're gonna put interlocking pavers, they specify pavers. if you're gonna do crosswalks, what a lot of beach cities have done is that in lieu of doing the stripes, they put interlocking pavers. You know, things of that,
Yeah.
they're changing things around to make the community look
Sure.
different and up to par, so to
The
speak.
design guidelines that I mentioned are only for private property.
Oh, private. So we're talking facades and what we want buildings to look like and
Articulation, fenestration, massing, height,
landscape, things
correct.
of that nature. Okay, so the guidelines won't cover medians?
No.
Okay, that's all I have.
Great. Oh, yes, Commissioner Solis?
Excuse me, when you brought up the city council approving, is it, you're talking about the metro?
No, no, this is for the Washington Boulevard
Washington
TOD specific plan.
entails?
Sorry?
It entails?
So the Washington Boulevard specific plan is an area that is bounded roughly by Washington down south to
The railroad tracks.
the railroad
past Brooks
tracks
Road,
and between
Paramount,
Paramount and the
western boundary.
western boundary of the
Oh,
city.
yes, okay. Thank you.
You'll have presentations for those very shortly. We've actually been working with a consultant for some time now. They're working on the administrative draft. We will have a workshop for you, I think, before the summer is out.
Thank you.
Sure.
Thank you,
Yeah,
Commissioner
my
Solis.
apologies for not clarifying.
No.
Thank you, Director. I'll go ahead and move on. I see we have no old business, no new business, and under old business, we have a horse trail update. That was brought up by resident William Nuri.
Good evening, Commissioners. As you may recall, at our last Planning Commission meeting, we had a resident come and speak to us about the horse trails. Primarily, he wanted maintenance of the horse trails to be performed and also signage, kind of memorializing the horse trails and making sure that they're very visible. We did call him back and gave him an update. We spoke to our Public Works Department, as the Public Works Department is in charge of the horse trails. They went out the week after to clean up the horse trails. And at the last city council meeting, our Public Works Director gave a report to the city council advising about signage on the horse, specifically on the horse trails, which is included as part of the median project. So that signage project was already underway, and it looks like they are going to start construction in September for that.
Excellent, thank you.
I have a question, Mr. Chair.
Yes, of course.
In regards to the signs, Mrs. Gonzalez, and this is just a thought, I know my experience, and I'm always the one that's calling that there's horses on Whittier Boulevard on the sidewalk. Could there be some consideration putting some signs at the bottom of the bridge? Something that indicates no horses beyond this point. In other words, to stop them from coming over the bridge, which is the Rio Hondo Bridge, onto the sidewalk on the other side. Can we do that on both limits of that arterial highway?
So sidewalks, horses should not be on the sidewalks.
That's my point.
Horses can be on the street.
Okay, I understand that.
So a sign that says, no horses on the sidewalk, we could look into that.
Please,
We can look
please.
into that and speak to the Public Works Director as a matter of, educating the public. They are a legal mode of transportation in the state of California.
I agree.
They're allowed on the street.
Right, they are,
To my knowledge, they're not allowed on the sidewalk,
right.
but let me do some research on that.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Thank you, Commissioner. Thank you, Director. Before I move to adjournment, I just want to make sure that nobody on the commission, is there any new or old business that we'd like to bring up this time?
Well, since I brought the flyers, I do.
Okay.
I came across the internet next year, for those commissioners that are going to be around next year, there is a upcoming League of California Cities. There's an academy also. There was one that just passed. So I'm passing out a flyer. I gave you one. Can you pass them down? So you can mark that date and come kind of mark it on your calendar. It's just FYI, that's all that is. Did you get one of these?
Yeah.
That's all I have, Mr. Chair.
Thank you.
Yeah, toward that end, we will also, I'm sure we can find it online. Every fiscal year, we have a budget for conferences, and there are a couple of major ones. League of California Cities, American Planning Association, and private entities who will hold the same type of class. As you know, we recently extended an invitation to all of you to attend back in March. For those of you who were able to attend, that's great. For those of you who are not, we'll certainly look at other opportunities. And as long as it's within that budget, we'll make it happen.
Excellent.
I have a
Thank you.
question.
Go ahead.
When you report back to the commission, can you look into, I'm not sure if it's in the form of a resolution or what allows us to tap into that? Or, I'm wondering, what if it's somewhere like in San Diego? And we need, does the rule, I'll call it rule for now, does the rule cover expenses like for meals, hotels, transportation, things of that nature? How does that work?
Well, I think that's more of a policy direction that would come from administration. If we have, we know that there are local conferences, and so we can opt to offer local, payment for classes at local conferences to avoid travel fees, to avoid per diem, to avoid the expense. So I know that the League of California Cities will often have their academy both in Northern and Southern California. In Southern California, they'll rotate Los Angeles, Long Beach, perhaps San Diego. Certainly choosing the one that is closest to Pico Rivera is going to be the most economical and probably the most prudent. But we will look into that.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that.
Alrighty. Thank you. And if there's no objections, I would like to move to adjourn.